Hey there, YouTube, it's Justin the Snap-on Junkie. How in the fuck are you guys doing today?
Oh, I see them try, but they can't do what I do. What I do. Yeah, and I'm gonna die before the day that I lose.
So today, this video is all gonna be about taps. There's 3 different kinds out there. I'm going to show you guys how I like tap and drill hole, or drill and tap holes, and kind of just a little bit of that. And then later we will do a video on how to remove like fucked up bolts and all that shit. It'll probably be next week sometime. But anyway, wanted to talk to you guys about taps because I get, I've had a couple of people ask in live streams about taps and how to do tapping holes properly, okay? And kind of just what the method is that I use. So I'm going to go through it real quick here, show you the 3 different types and all that stuff. So usually like the taps you get from like Snap-on or come in a kit, I would consider those starter taps, okay? There's 3 different types of taps. I got them here, okay? This is just ones that I bought. This is a starter tap. As you can see here, it's definitely tapered a lot more, and the threads don't start as fast, so you can get it started with. You can also use that. The next one is called a taper tap, okay? And what that is that means this is just a little bit tapered, okay? And it's also easier to start, and it's for through-hole tapping, okay? Now, the next kind of tap is a bottoming tap, and you can see that the threads start right away. And a bottoming tap, you got to use a starter tap first, okay? You got to use one of these to get your hole started, because these are very difficult, I found, to get the holes fucking started. So anyway, we're going to kind of go over just a little bit of tap charts, so you hope you understand. Okay, so we're going to be tapping 3/8/16 today. That's just what I found at the hardware store, because I bought some extra cheap ones that we're going to break off in the next video, and I'll show you how to get this shit out if I even can. But anyway, so a lot of times you'll come with one of these tap charts. If you want to download a tap chart, you can just fucking Google it, and you can download anything. Okay, so there's 2 different, you can pick how much threads you kind of want. You can see here there's a 60% tap and a 75% thread. 90% of the time you're going to use a 75% thread. I don't really know what a 60% thread's for, but we're going to make a 60% hole so we can see the difference here, okay? And then the last thing I'm going to show you is how to use a bottoming tap and where you need a bottoming tap. This is when you have a closed hole, and we're going to make a closed hole tap and all that stuff so we can do that. And then what I'm going to do is we're just kind of go over this, okay? So the first thing you're going to need when you want to drill holes is a good center punch. This is a Starrett automatic center punch. It's like 50 bucks on Amazon. This is the best fucking investment you can make if you're going to do some fabricating, okay? Is this Starrett automatic center punch. I'm in love with this motherfucker right here. Again, those fucking red Tiffany boxes for men. Starrett stuff, beautiful. Okay, now once you get ready to tap a hole here, okay, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Okay, you can use tap handles, which I hate fucking tap handles. Very difficult to get straight. I would use a tap handle when you have a huge tap, bigger taps. They also make bigger tap handles. All right, as you can see how this works is it's cut on an angle. Okay, then you put your tap in there, and now you have a thing to go like this. Now, a lot of guys like to do it like this. When you're cutting threads, you can't get wild with it. But anyway, this is the tap handle. I'll show you how that works. But for me, this is what you need to invest in. Again, fucking tap sockets. Alright, get you a small ratchet. I have this knee post ratchet, but I like a small ratchet system. Okay? And the next thing you're going to need is a little bit of lube. You know, any good thing that has a lot of friction, you're going to need some lube. The human body makes its own lube when you're fucking a chick. That's what gets her wet down there. It's a form of lube. Okay? Think about it. All right? You don't want to run anything in there dry. Gives you car wreck dick. Well, tapping a hole is no different. Okay? If you want to avoid breaking a tap off or doing some dumb shit, you need some fucking lube. And also, you have to use the lump 3 feet above your ass. Okay? If something don't feel right, fellas, it's probably not right. But anyway, I have the extra thick shit. I like the Tap Magic brand. You can see I get it from MasterCar. This is for aluminum. This stuff's really watery. But most of the time, all you need is just some regular. I like the extra thick just because I like things a little gooey. Okay? But anyway, that's the 3 different things. We got our milfuckies out. We're going to do some drilling. So I'll get switched up here and I'll show you how we're going to drill this hole and all that stuff. And how to use this center punch. So the first thing we got to do is pick our center punch. And I'm just going to guesstimate this. Hold on. No, we don't have to guesstimate anymore. We can get the AVE weld ruler out. And he said that you can find center with this thing somehow. I don't remember how he said to do it. But, alright, we're just going to fucking guess here. Because this is not going to work. But anyway. So you just want to get you a nice center hole, okay? Now, shit. This one, I'm going to make 60% threads. We're going to take a look at this. Okay, and for a 3/8 16, that's a 21/64 drill bit. And that's what I got here. So again, when you drill holes, again, you want a little lube. You know, just a fucking cunt hair. You don't need very much. Alright, and I use 135 degree bits, split points. I think they're a little bit easier. Alright, now what you want to do is kind of eyeball this fucking thing up. Now, with these drills, the chucks ain't the best. You know, if I had a drill press and a vise in a mill, we would be doing this really good. But you want to try to get the hole started as straight as you possibly can. Little more lube. You know, you don't want too much lube. Fucking drill in here. Alright. We got that drilled out. Hold on. Blow all these chips out of the way. So now that we got that drilled here, okay, what we will do is I will come over here and we're going to drill that one to the actual 75% one, and that drill is 15/16, okay? So we got that one. All right, put a little lube on it. And let's get wild with it. Alright, now we got that one drilled. Again, blowgun. Alright, then you want to kind of clean the hole here. That's what I do. So, break clean. Okay? Now, if we wanted to get really fancy, what we would break out, these countersinks. 82 degrees is about the normal ones that you need to get. Alright, and then we're going to take out the 3/8 one, and what we do is just knock these burrs off. Again, this is not, you don't need to get wild with this. We're just trying to square this up a little bit. Well, fuck. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see that, but we chamfered those a little bit, okay? Now, I'm going to use the snap-on tap first, okay? And you can see that, see how this hole is the 60% thread, and this hole is the 75% thread. And we're going to find out which one we got here. So this is the starter tap that I got from McMaster Cars. So let me get these holes tapped here, and I'll kind of show you how I do this. One with a tapping handle, and then one with my way. We're back. So again, I like the extra thick for tapping because it doesn't seem to run out everywhere. Okay, so now what you want to do is when you first start the hole, you want to try to get it as straight as possible, as humanly possible to get it going. Okay, and we're right about there. And then you just work this in like this. You know, and tapping holes is going to take a little bit of skill. You're going to have to learn the feel. Like that's pretty much drag right there, so you want to back it back off, you know. But now we're starting to cut some threads, so we're doing good there. And again, guys, this is all experience and feel. 90% of this is just doing it, you know. You'll get better at it the more times you do it here, all right? Now, some guys will tap about half the hole and, you know, blow it out because you want to get these chips out of here. That's what this is designed like this. It's fluted to collect chips. Blow that off. Blow that off. All right, then you can put some more lube on there. You know, the extra thick just makes it a little bit easier, you know, I found. All right. Okay, so now we're back to cutting. You know, and it's really just a dance. You're just fucking doing this. All right, now we're all the way through, okay? So what I like to do is if you're all the way through, I blow it off before I run it back through there. Now, all the time, you can't fucking do that. You know, if you're in somewhere, you know, you don't want to do this with, like, the fucking engine opened and all that shit. All right? So, all right. So now we have a 60% thread there, okay? And you can see that this is a little bit looser, okay? You know, the bolt has some wiggle because we don't have, you know, we're not cutting as much threads. This drill bit is a little bit oversized. You know, yes, it'll work, you know, then this one, and maybe if I'll look up, I really don't know why you use a 60% thread. There's a reason why. It's either you can get more torque with it or something. I don't fucking know. But I'm sure that there'll be a genius in the comment section, okay, that is going to say that. So, all right, so here is a true starting tap. Now, a lot of people call these like tapered or plug taps. I think in the type kit, they're starter taps is what I would call them. Okay, but you can see the difference here. The only difference in the snap-on one is they cut it flat. This is a different type of starter tap where it's a little bit longer. So you'll see here, we'll get some lube on this fucker again. Now this one is going to be a little bit different to cut, okay? And with the tap sockets, I find it a lot easier, guys. They're not very much money. You know what I'm saying? We got to twist it here a little bit. There we go. All right. So again, you know, I like a short socket for this. or a short ratchet, just because you can't put much torque on it because your lever's shorter. You know, wow, these taps are really good here from McMaster Carr. That's the, you know, now with 75% taps or 75% hole, you're going to have to clean the hole out a little bit more because you don't want to drag all this shit through it, you know, and we still got some good lube on there, so I'm not concerned, you know, not concerned with that. So once we get it down to about 3 full threads, I'm going to put in a taper tap and just show you that it cuts a little bit different. So as you can see, this is more resistance than the 60%. Oh, now we got it hung up. Oh, you motherfucker. So again, we just keep rinsing and repeating. Alright. So we're going to put on a different tap here and kind of show you. Boo, 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 boo. Alright, and now that we got it started, you know, it'll kind of find its own way home there. And if you don't have a blowgun, you know, you have a compressor in your body. It's called your lungs. You can blow it out a little bit. Again, with the thicker shit, you know, the thicker lube that I use, you almost need a blowgun because the threads will stick, you know, the stuff will stick to this pretty good. So again, and we're cutting some pretty good thread here. So again, it's a lot of rinse and repeating here. Oh shit. And you can see with the 75% thread, it took us a little bit to get through this. Alright, now we're coming through the other side here. Alright, now we're all the way through there. I'm going to blow it off here on the bottom. And you're going to see that this will come out a lot easier. Okay, again, we're going to brake clean our hole out. Brake clean the tap off just to get all that oil and all the residue off. Blowgun. Alright. Now what we're going to do is, where's my little bolt? So we'll put this bolt in there. And I can tell you that the threads look a little bit more in there. And you can see that the bolt doesn't move as around as much as that one does. But that's how I drill and tap holes. You know, I usually tap everything to the 75%, to be honest with you guys. I've never used a 60% thread before. I really don't know what that's for. I have a feeling this is for something specific, or they wouldn't let you do that. Maybe it's just another way. Maybe the 60% thread is for like super hard materials like titanium. You might not want to tap it to 75. You might want to use 60% just because you're not cutting as much. You're not cutting up as much material. Now I can tell you that titanium is a motherfucker to fucking tap. It's hard to get tap right. You will go through some plugs. You know, I've had to tap titanium in the past, and it is not easy. So that's the first two styles of taps, or that was the first two style of taps. So now we're going to get into the more difficult style. That's bottoming tap, because if you're not paying attention, this is the one that you're going to break off in the fucking hole. Or if the apprentice shows up, okay, and they use a starter tap or even the other style tap here, tapered tap or whatever you want to call it, through hole tap, and they bottom this out in the fucking hole, well, you know, then the more experienced guy is going to come and fucking fix it. But you can imagine that that sucks. So when you're doing bottoming taps, all right, you don't want to start using this bottoming tap. Even though it's kind of chamfered where you could, you know, you could see here, I could use this thing right from the beginning. I don't like to do that. Again, I like to use a starter tap or whatever tap that you get in your, you know, tap cat sit. We're not here calling anything. And a lot of people ask, what's my favorite ratchet? Well, I decided to get it out for this because we're doing a little bit more, I'm going to need a little bit more leverage for this. So I got out my favorite tap here, or my favorite ratchet. And what I'm going to do is get this thing started and just get a couple threads down in there before I switch to the bottoming tap. You know, now I'm getting a little aggressive with this thing, and obviously I can get a little bit more aggressive. I kind of know the limit, and I got some really good taps here. All right, so again, we want to blow everything out. And you can see that this tap is not through hole. We run into the bottom, and that's typical. That's typical for like what you find on like a lot of cars, cylinder heads is all going to be like this. So you might need to invest in some bottoming taps or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now that we got that, we're going to put some more lube in there. Just a little bit. Alright, see, it makes it a lot easier to start when you already got it started, this bottoming tap. So again, it's just the same process as using any other taps. You know, run a couple, clean it out. Alright, the trick is when you get down to the bottom. See? With a bottomed hole like this, when you're tapping something, you're really going to have to pay attention to... Alright, we can go a little bit more. You're going to have to pay more attention to cleaning the chips out. Alrighty. Now, also, here's another little piece of advice. You want to tap this down till, you know, if your hole's a 1/4 inch, you want to try to go till the bottom tap touches the bottom of your hole. And we're getting pretty close there. I'm going to pull it out, clean it up, and check it. See, this is why I like this ratchet. I don't know if you can see it if you guys are in frame, but you can then swing it and use it as a driver. Alright. Okay, we can go a little bit more here. So we're still going. You'll be able to feel the tap start binding up. Now, to me, I think that I'm close enough to the bottom. All right. Let me check it here. Oh, yeah. All right. So let me show you something here, like if the apprentice showed up. So now we got like this style tap, all right? And if the apprentice showed up, you know, this would be what he would get out of his box, all right? And he would run this down in there, right? And then his girlfriend would text him on the phone. He wouldn't be paying attention. He would do some dumb shit, right? And with that having that sharp angle on there on the end, you know, we're bottomed out in the hole. And this stupid fucker would be like, well, man, oh, fuck. And then he would just keep going till the tap is bottomed out, right? And then they break it off. And then guess who's going to come fix it? A guy that knows what the fuck he's doing, all right? So that's why you guys just want to learn about taps. And that's why I like tap sockets, because you can feel just a little bit more with these fucking things. Alright, so now we get our bolt out, and you can see, if we had whatever, I don't have a fully threaded 16th bolt here, but you can see that bolt's all the way down in there, and all that stuff. Now, that's, that's how I drill and tap holes. I hope you guys understand that. Also, there is a million different grades of fucking taps, okay? You can get like general all-purpose taps. You can get better long-lasting. These I bought from McMaster Carr. They're a medium grade tap, all right? And taps are going to be hard, okay? Hard. Up here is not going to be as hard, but down here, this is going to be fucking hard, okay? And that's going to become brittle. Taps will not take, when you bottom a tap out, what it wants to do is it wants to stretch, just like you would stretch a thread on a bolt or anything else. It becomes difficult. That's when they will get weak and then break on you down in stuff. And that's why these things are so hard to get the fuck out. But I hope that this lets you have a little bit of knowledge about what different types of taps there are out there, how I tap holes, and things like that. And then the next video will be about how to get, broken bolts off and broken taps off when the apprentice shows up. Or a guy fresh out of fucking technical school. We'll call it a technical school idiot mistake. And I'll show you how to get a tap out of a blind hole, because that's 90% of the time. That's where they're going to break them off. And then I'll show you how to get some broken bolts out using some different extractors. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys, about, how I tap stuff and stuff like that. And again, this is just the way that I do it. I'm sure that there's other ways out there, you know what I'm saying? This is just how I tap holes and use taps. And I wanted to explain the difference, of a couple different, taps that they make. The only one we didn't talk about is, like a pipe tap. And you use it the same way, but what you want to do is, a pipe tap is tapered, okay? And so how I always did it is that you run it in till your piece turns around 3 times in there without, like a wrench or anything in a pipe tap. And you turn it around 3 times, or you tap your hole, and then you have to be able to turn the part 3 times without using a wrench, and then that's how you do pipe taps. Sorry, I forgot that one. So there's really 4 different kinds, but other than that, like always, guys, visit my Patreon account, my other social medias, the Snap-on Junkie on Facebook and Instagram. And like always, guys, thanks for watching, and I gotta fucking go.